Hi everyone, it's Friday afternoon and CNN just obtained some really insane video of Sean Diddy Combs assaulting his ex-girlfriend Cassie at the Intercontinental in Century City, LA back in 2016. Now this video matches allegations that Cassie made in a lawsuit back in November. Diddy settled that lawsuit with Cassie Ventura back in November within like a day. He said it was with no admission of guilt, but really the key thing about this video that CNN obtained, I'm going to play it in just a second, is that it matches the allegations in the suit that Diddy said was settled without an admission of guilt. And these allegations in that suit that was settled span like the 10-year period, arguably when Diddy was at the height of his power. So we'll get to all of that in just a second, but take a look at the video here that CNN obtained. Again, it's graphic, so that's a little bit of a warning. What you see is Cassie. It doesn't have any audio, but what you see is her in the hallway of the hotel, Diddy chasing after her in just a towel and his socks. He gets her out of the elevator, throws her to the ground like a rag doll, basically, kicks her a couple times. She's just lifeless on the ground. He moves her around like that. It's obviously completely disgusting. And again, that's from 2016. It matches what was in that lawsuit. They dated on and off from 2007 to 2008. And she alleges basically a decades-long pattern of abuse on Diddy's behalf, sexual assault, human trafficking. They met when she was 19. He was 37. People probably know he signed her to his record label at the time. And then she alleges engaged in, that sort of personal and professional pressure campaign. He had power over her as the head of the label that she alleges he wielded exploitively and in ways that left her vulnerable to sexual abuse, sexual assault, that, involved drug abuse, human trafficking, and just all of these horrific claims about their 10-year relationship. They were actually photographed a couple of days after, at an event, a couple of days after this videotape was taken. Cassie alleges in her suit that Diddy paid $50,000, in fact, to have the video, to buy the video, which makes it pretty interesting that someone leaked that video to CNN, that CNN, or presumably CNN, obtained this video in one way or another. And there's 5 other civil suits against Diddy right now, as I mentioned before. I think that's really worth mentioning. You have one from 1990. That's Liza Gardner, who alleged sexual assault, accused Diddy of sexual assault back in 1990. There's one, again, that has drug allegations, sexual assault allegations from 1991. Then a Jane Doe lawsuit that alleges sexual trafficking and gang rape from 2003. Then you have the ones that were extremely explosive. Probably the second most well-known after the Cassie allegations in the suit was the one from Lil Rod. That is sexual assault, trafficking, racketeering allegations. He alleged that Diddy groped his genitals, touched his anus, and he was a producer videographer for Diddy. So he says that a lot of this is on video because Diddy was asking him to take video of a lot of this, including, he says, there's screenshots of underage girls and prostitutes, that there are there's evidence in those screenshots of laced drinks that Diddy told people to lace for him, which again wraps a lot of different people into this potentially, especially if there's more video evidence to come from Lil Rod. There's an allegation from the crew member of a yacht that Diddy rented back in 2022 that he aided and abetted a sexual assault that his son committed against this crew member. So a lot of different people are getting wrapped up into this, and that's sadly to be expected when you have somebody whose net worth is estimated by Forbes to be at $1 billion. It's another important thing about this suit is that a lot of other people are wrapped into it. A lot of business enterprises, Diddy's sort of known for his vast business enterprise. A lot of them are named in these suits, which means there's a lot of allegations about aiding and abetting. Diddy has already lost his Revolt TV. He sort of stepped down from Revolt TV. He lost a reality series at Hulu that was supposed to follow him and his family. I think it's also worth mentioning, Yashar Ali noted Kimora Lee Simmons has warned about Diddy for years and not been taken seriously. Something that's very common, obviously, when you have a really high-profile predator who's worth tons of money, has all of these different businesses, and people just sort of go along to get along. I think this video that CNN obtained this afternoon gives a lot of credence to Cassie's allegations that Diddy was wielding his power abusively, and that gives credence to all of the other allegations. It's not to say that every allegation against him is true. Diddy has basically said people are extorting him. He accused Lil Rod of that. I think Lil Rod's suit is like $30 million, and that's what Diddy has said it's all about. You know, he's denying pretty much everything. He's motioned to have a lot of these suits outright dismissed. I think that's obviously going to get a lot harder now that this video is public. Again, you have to ask how this video became public, who wanted it to become public. In other news, just yesterday, a 25-year-old that was alleged to be Diddy's drug mule was actually struck a plea deal, according to reports, with prosecutors in Miami. So, you know, people remember those raids from late March. He was arrested at that time. This alleged drug mule was arrested back at that time and has now apparently struck a plea deal, which obviously could be very, very bad. CNN sources suggest that the raid looked like it was part of a human trafficking investigation. We still don't exactly know what the extent of this investigation is, what it looks like, but we do know that someone who's alleged to have had a huge part in this struck a plea deal again just yesterday, and then this video comes out the next day. It's absolutely possible when things like this happen that you have other people, cynical, exploitive people piggybacking on true allegations who spin false allegations. There's plenty of, that's absolutely possible. But I do think the video evidence here, the video evidence that Lil Rod said in a lawsuit that exists, certainly suggests that a whole lot more is about to come out in regard to Diddy's behavior. Again, I think it's important to know that this could implicate a whole lot of other people in that he's alleged to have engaged in like sex trafficking on a private jet, echoes of actual Epstein allegations. There are also echoes of Weinstein allegations in that Diddy was using his position of power to promise vulnerable young women advancement in the industry. And these are two, obviously very high-profile cases of powerful sex abusers. We look at what's happened with Nickelodeon right now with the Quiet on Set revelations, allegations that the company didn't know as much as it should have, perhaps because it was willfully turning a blind eye to the situation, and that when it did know what it should have, it continued to still turn a blind eye to the situation in order to continue profiting off of vulnerable people. These are high-profile allegations of trafficking, sex abuse within the entertainment industry, and that's something a lot of people have been very concerned about for years, and we continue to see more and more confirmation that that's basically what's happening behind closed doors of such a powerful industry that does wield so much power over other people, over children. Cassie wasn't a child at the time that these allegations began. She was 19, but she was obviously a young woman with a much, much, much more powerful man. And there are allegations, though, of underage girls in the Lil Rod suit in particular, and, in others. So this is, I think part of this is the media story that CNN got this video the day after someone strikes a deal with prosecutors. So there's a lot more to look out for on that count. There's apparently a lot more video to come out. But, Diddy's net worth, again, estimated to be at $1 billion. This is not just about him. Certainly not just about him. There are likely to be, and there are already allegations about other people in his close circles that aided and abetted what now appears to be increasingly serious, credible allegations. Obviously, this is assault, what we're seeing on the video footage. So what appears to be a very credible alleged pattern of abuse. How many people knew? How many people knew because they saw with their own two eyes? Was Diddy himself the only person who had this $50,000 alleged video that he bought from the Intercontinental, according to Cassie's claims? Highly unlikely that he was the only person who had ever seen this video. So who else knew? Who knew over the course of allegations that span, a vast business empire, again, over the course of like 30 years, as he continued, to get more and more powerful, more and more wealthy. It's just tragedy that seems to have touched so many different lives. And, we can expect more to come from other people that wanted to be rich and powerful too. And so they kept their mouths shut or they joined in. So that's, I think, what to look out for in the near-term future is just how vast the scope of these allegations get. And, what was done in the entertainment industry, when people knew, what was done about all of that. So something to keep an eye on. Absolutely looks like Diddy's in more and more serious trouble just about every day that goes by. Again, just the last 24 hours, someone striking a plea deal, videos coming out, and the Lil Rod suit in particular says there's a lot more video to come. So I'm sure there'll be more news on this front.